Hawaii is a really beautiful island filled with beautiful beaches, lush landscapes, waterfalls, and many other things. But do you know how exactly did Hawaii become part of the United States? The native people of Hawaii don't look American in any way. Their culture, their cuisine, and traditions are really different from American culture. Well, Hawaii was never meant to be a part of the United States. The locals in Hawaii have been living there for more than 1,000 years. It was independent from centuries, but now it's filled with American tourists, and it's entirely owned by just 82 landholders. A lot of it is owned by American government and private companies. How did this happen? Let's dive into the story of how Hawaii became the 50th state of America. Thousands of years ago, Polynesian settlers came to Hawaii and settled over there. They lived there without any foreign contact for many centuries. But in 1778, James Cook became the first European to arrive on the island. Native people of Hawaii were pretty scared of these Europeans carrying guns. James Cook and his crew stayed on this island for some time and gave many European diseases to these natives. This wiped a huge part of Hawaii's population. On James Cook's second visit to Hawaii, a conflict broke out between Cook's crew and Hawaiians over a stolen longboat. So Cook tried to take the Hawaiian king hostage in exchange for the return of the stolen longboat. But the situation escalated quickly, and Cook and several members of his crew were attacked and killed by the Hawaiian natives. It wasn't a really good start for Hawaii's relations with foreign countries, even after hearing about Cook's horrifying death. Europeans and American sailors kept coming to the island for restocking supplies and other reasons, and with them came American missionaries. See, back then Christians believed that it was their duty to travel the world and spread their religion. So American missionaries did the same. Hawaiians believed in many different gods, so the missionaries became more determined in converting them into Christianity. They wanted to totally change Hawaiian society and make it more Western, so thousands of missionaries came to Hawaii carrying weapons, and things like dancing, singing, and local Hawaiian games were suddenly made illegal. And the natives had to forcefully accept this. The missionaries were having trouble controlling Hawaii, so they decided to have a single person as the king of Hawaii instead of many chieftains. So they established a puppet ruler who listened to them. Even though the natives didn't choose him or like him, because of this puppet ruler, the missionaries gained a lot of power in Hawaii. Even after all of this, the Kingdom of Hawaii was still independent. During the late 1800s, there were very less totally independent countries, and Hawaii was one of them. It wasn't a colony, not a territory. It was an independent kingdom, but this status wouldn't last long. The American missionaries in Hawaii were really broke because preaching religion didn't pay really well. Hawaii doesn't have any natural resources like gold or oil, but they had a lot of sugarcane, which grew really well in the tropical climate. And sugar at that time was powdered white gold. During the Industrial Revolution, there was mass production of sugar, for which sugarcane was required. So the missionaries decided to get into the sugarcane business. So they teamed up with American farmers and decided to turn Hawaii into a profitable sugar plantation. But the land in Hawaii wasn't on sale. In Hawaii and culture, there is no concept of owning land. The natives had been living on shared land for centuries, and American dollar was just plain paper to the natives. Without any ownership, the sugarcane grown by the American farmers could be harvested by anyone in the island. So the missionaries decided to use the puppet king they had set up to get rid of this problem. The king cut up Hawaiian land, put it under his control so the missionaries could simply buy the land from the king. This shocked the natives who lived on shared land for centuries. Even if they wanted to buy land, they couldn't do it, because they didn't have the money for it. Only the Americans had the money with which they could buy land in Hawaii. The American farmers started growing sugarcane on every piece of land they could find. They were harvesting and exporting a ton of sugarcane back to America. But there was a big problem. See, the United States charged a lot of tax for products being imported from another country, and Hawaii was still an independent country and wasn't a part of the United States. Yet many decades before, the missionaries turned Hawaii into a sugar plantation. Farmers in mainland United States had forced the government to put heavy taxes on sugar coming from another country so that they wouldn't have any competition, and they established a monopoly over the sugar industry in the U.S. This was a massive problem for American farmers in Hawaii. So in 1854, they made their puppet king make a deal with the American government. He requested the U.S. government and remove all the taxes from the Hawaiian sugar, and in return, the U.S. will get exclusive rights to build military bases on Hawaiian land, and the U.S. government gladly accepted the deal. None of the natives wanted this. They didn't want to exchange their land for zero taxes on sugar, as they believed this will lead to Hawaii falling under American control. In 1876, the deal became official, and now Americans could build on Hawaiian land. The number of sugar plantations in Hawaii increased, and American farmers were earning a ton of money in profits. But after a few years, the American government wanted more in exchange of zero taxes, and farmers in mainland America weren't happy about this deal. They had lost all their monopoly over the sugar industry. The American government wanted more exclusive land rights and complete control over Pearl Harbor. Listening to the Americans wasn't an option for the king anymore. It was a requirement. In 1887, a new constitution was written for Hawaii, but this time it was written by American lawyers and farmers, and the king was forced to sign it at gunpoint. In this constitution, only landowners could vote or run for office. Most native Hawaiians still didn't own land, and most landowners were white Americans. Native Americans lost every right to decide the destiny of their country. The king signed away his people's rights and independence to the Americans. Hawaii was now an unofficial American territory, but in 1891, Queen Liliuokalani, who was the sister of Hawaii's former king, came into power. She wanted to give Hawaii its independence back. And during the same time, the U.S. government removed all taxes for any sugar imports coming to America. So sugar farmers in Jamaica, Nicaragua started exporting sugar to the U.S. and came into competition with farmers in Hawaii. They didn't have the advantage they had before and lost their monopoly. They could only have their monopoly back if Hawaii officially became part of the United States, and they were horrified when the new Queen of Hawaii came out and decided to adopt a new constitution, which will give back the native Hawaiians all their power. If this constitution was established, the Americans would be devastated, so they decided to overthrow the Hawaiian kingdom once and for all. The Americans had always planned to overthrow the Kingdom of Hawaii, but when the Queen decided to establish a new constitution, the Americans had to do something. So three men, John L. Stevens, Lauren Thurston, and Henry Cooper, an American minister to Hawaii, an ex-government official, and an American lawyer. They called themselves the Committee for Safety. They planned to overthrow the Hawaiian Queen and make a Hawaii part of the United States. On January 14, 1893, Queen Liliuokalani announces the plans for a new constitution, and Commit for Safety gets alert. The Hawaiian government was made of mostly Americans, so the coup was going to be easy. The Queen and her guards were the only problem the Commit of Safety faced, but an American warship was docked nearby. And on January 16, 1893, he decides to do exactly that. Two American Marines arrived on the island to finish the coup with guns and artillery. With all of this, the Commit of Safety gathers American farmers outside the Queen's palace with about 60 armed soldiers by their side. After a century of American rule, there were no patriotic Hawaiians in the Hawaiian government. And after the coup, Henry Cooper officially announced that the Queen was removed from power. This was really insulting to the Hawaiian natives, and they had no say about this. 3 conspirators bought over some soldiers, removed the Queen from power, and the natives had to forcefully accept all of this. The Americans chose a guy named Sanford Dole to be the new leader. Hawaiians weren't surprised that all of this took place because they were indirectly under American rule. From decades, and the Queen's government itself consisted of more Americans than the natives. Hawaii was beaten into submission. The Queen could only beg the American government for help, and the Commit of Safety didn't have any permission from the U.S. president to carry out this coup. President Grover Cleveland didn't have any idea of all this till it was over, and he was also a good friend of the Hawaiian Queen. He even offered the Queen her position back, if she agreed to not prosecute the people who did this coup. But it was not true. Sanford Dole had already made it clear that it was not going to happen. The American government had no choice rather than to accept the new Hawaiian government. The only thing the Queen did was not recognizing Hawaii as the official state. For the next 60 years, Hawaii was an independent country and a recognized territory ran by American citizens, and the sugar farmers enjoyed all the benefits that the sugar farmers in mainland USA had. After Hawaii became a recognized territory, Hawaiian-born Americans started campaigning to become part of the United States. So in 1959, Hawaii was officially declared the 50th state of the United States. the natives left on the island never celebrated. More than 12,000 Hawaiians protested in 1993, demanding their land back. Even in 2015, a lot of Hawaiian land was owned by just 82 landholders, and half of it was owned by the American government, which was never chosen by the natives. Many natives are still waiting for the 2,000 awan acres of land. They were promised by the U.S. government, but half of that land has gone to non-Hawaiians. The people who lived in Hawaii for thousands of years still don't have any land and independence. They are still waiting for their share of land. Hawaiian government became the first government to be overthrown by the Americans. None of the guides in Hawaii are going to tell this story of how Hawaii fell under American control. This is a dark chapter in history. You are spending your time very wisely watching videos like this and gaining knowledge, so make sure to subscribe to my channel for more. I will meet you in my another video. Till then, bye.